All right, welcome back, George. We are here just discussing another topic, and you are once again the co-founder of the Picklr. We're here inside the Picklr in Kaysville, Utah, and I just wanted to talk with you about some of the innovation and adaptability that you've had to do with the Picklr in the changing landscape that you've seen.
Yeah, that's a very interesting topic. Because when we opened up the Picklr, and I think that for the most part, this is still the experience where you go to a park and you're waiting, 45 minutes to an hour in between games. I actually haven't played in the park in about a year. I would think that's still pretty normal, right?
Yeah, so I have a couple parks near me, and I drive past them all the time. And I think in peak hours, so the morning and evening, they're packed. Just totally slammed. And so if you're wanting to play at those times, I would say anywhere from 6 to 10 in the morning or so. And then maybe anytime after 5 p.m., it's almost impossible to get a court.
Yeah, so that was my experience with Pickeball. So when we opened up the Picklr, it was the mindset we're gonna just do 24/7. It has a key code in the front. You get a code anytime you make a reservation. We're just going to let people come play just like you would a park. I think that really is ultimately what led us to pivot is like, hey, this doesn't work. And I think the biggest reason why is the aspect of building community made us to pivot and try to innovate and figure out what is it that players want. Mm-hmm. And you could probably attest to this. Pickleball players can be some of the most picky people in the world, right?
Not me.
Yeah. This guy here is the pickiest. And so I think in order for us to build community, we got creative. We would do, every month we would have tournaments that were different themed. Dinko de Mayo was one of our more popular ones.
Does it have anything to do with your heritage?
Are you assuming that I'm Mexican?
Well, you are.
Well, yes, yeah. So, we would do a lot of fun stuff that would bring people in and build community. But it's just so interesting to see how, even in the last 2 years, how much the community has matured as far as, we all, it seemed like we're in the Picklr in the same skill level, and everyone's skilled up besides me, which sucks. But even those players, like they craved for more. And I mean, even in Utah, one of the popular ones, King's Court.
King's Court, yeah.
King's Court is a community.
Yeah.
I haven't attended one, but that is
they've blown up.
They have 800 players strong.
Yep.
And so Utah, I feel like, has always been ahead of the curve of what people are craving and wanting. So, initially it was, tournaments every month because everyone wants to play in tournaments. I think for the most part, there's probably some tournament fatigue in Utah, especially in the summertime. At any given weekend, you would see anywhere from 4 to 6 tournaments every weekend. So everyone's competing against each other. I think that created tournament fatigue. You mentioned King's Court. That's kind of a fun concept. And so for us, it's like it's always figuring out what is it that players want. Again, Utah is.
So how do you find that information? Are you taking polls? Are you asking people, or are you just observing?
I actually tap in. I'm probably in like, I want to say 20 to 30 Facebook forum groups.
And he's active in all of them.
All of them, yeah. It is true. I'm Hey Shay. No, I'm just kidding.
What are your other burner accounts?
Yeah, I really want a burner account, but I've restrained myself. I don't want to. Yeah, I'm going to do Jimmy Miller PB. Follow me on Twitter. He's not on Twitter.
He is.
Is he?
I don't think he posts, but he's on there.
I tried tagging him the other day, and I just put @JimmyMillerPB.
Yeah,
because that shouldn't be his handle. But yeah, I'll be a part of forums. We'll ask. Members a lot of the times will tell us what they've played or seen right now, and that everyone has kind of adopted the MLP format so for tournaments, which is very fun here in Utah. But leagues is now becoming, you just got done playing in a it was 8 weeks, eight week team format league that led to a championship series. Again, Utah is at the forefront of it. There's a lot of leagues where that's starting to happen, and so we took it to the next level. So we purchased a minor league team. It's called the Picklr Cubs. So the concept behind that is we're going to have the ability to do tournaments. Leagues is what's the next step. So we'll have our own drafts. We'll have our own 6 to 8 week leagues, and then it'll lead to some sort of championship that those winners will then represent us at marquee events. So we're trying to always figure out what's the best amateur experience that we can provide. Because pickleball in itself is great, but then you add a different element to it. The team aspect that, MLP, I've seen you play, you get hyped.
MLP is fun. There's a lot of energy there.
There's a lot of energy.
George over there chirping and kind of trash talking to a lot of the players, and players respond.
That never happens just to you. No, but it's awesome. Even watching you play in the championship. Yes, you were chirping at me a little bit, but I think feeding off that energy, you get that experience quite a bit too on the amateur side, and it's a blast. Like, you don't want to let your team down. I mean, literally every point matters because it's rally scoring. So if you miss a third or a bad dink, you start to question all your shots now, and so that puts a level of pressure on you. So yeah, we're always at the Picklr trying to find out what is it that people. I saw in Arizona, that league, they're doing a timed court. They do like basketball almost. Yeah. It's by quarters. We'll try that, right? Yeah. We're willing to figure out. I don't know how much more you can innovate in pickleball, but we're always willing to try it.
Love it. Yeah. Innovation is key, and you've been able to do that, implement that quite a bit here at the Picklr.
Next thing is if there's anything that may gamify the game, software, AI, what's out there. We want to see what's out there. I heard there's a dink wall out there that we'll be able to do almost like a paddle test, like in golf, right? You hit into a simulator. This dink wall will be very similar, where you'll be able to hit into it, and it'll
who's making that product?
TBD.
Okay.
TBD.
Okay.
So that's there. We're in conversations with them. I'm not involved in that yet,
Gotcha.
But
and when would that come to market?
TBD. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But that's cool to see that people are innovating. We had a chance to host Major League Pickleball's AI software that they'll be using for San Clemente for line calls and stats. But even just from an amateur side, after a game, I'd love to know, how many times I, hit bad thirds or.
We know that. Yours.
Really?
It's going to be a low number.
Low. Yeah. But it's.
And low is not good.
Yeah. But it's it'll be cool to see what technology starts to come out to help the game grow. Duper has been great just from the aspect of being able to see your rating, but what else can we do with that? Like, I want to see how we can gamify even more the game of pickleball through Duper and AI. What's out there. So if you know anything, I'm your guy. I'm looking for the next big thing.
I can't remember who it was, but there's a famous entrepreneur. Somebody said that if you're not willing to innovate, you're going to be left behind. Yeah. You've got to be innovating.
Was it Steve Jobs?
I think it was. I think it was actually.
Big Apple guys.
Yeah.
Over here.
If you're not willing to innovate, you're going to get left behind, and I think that's so true, especially in the pickleball industry where the landscape is changing weekly.
Yep.
They're coming out with different formats, different products, different paddles, different balls, different everything.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to innovate or willing to be adaptable, then the game's going to change. Yeah. And you're not going to be ready for it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So if there's any software, technology, AI out there, we're or wanted to explore it.
Well, I think you kind of alluded to it, but in your viewpoint, what is the next big thing for pickleball?
Oh, I alluded to it.
Maybe not. What's your answer?
As far as technology?
Yeah, I think technology more so.
Oh, I mean, oh, you put me on the spot here.
I would say just what you just came off saying, AI.
Well, AI, but I mean, use it how though? Is it just for line calls and being able to review and take stats? I think that's cool. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there's got to be something.
I liked what you were talking about with the dink wall. I mean,
the dink wall will
if
be
you
cool.
can get those stats, if you can get that placement of where you're hitting the ball to and improve upon that, I think that could really benefit a lot of players.
Well, and talk about innovation. Steve Kuhn doing MLP. That was. I think MLP finally hit its year mark, but I mean that when introduced, that was a game changer for pickleball. Yeah. So I'd love to see what else is out there. I've had interesting conversations with people. I was like, what would it take to create another league? You know, and so it's can like another competitor come in right now? And so I'd be interested to see what can pickleball come in and do it like basketball can, right? That Arizona league, that's an amateur league, there always has that building full to come watch it. It's exciting. I see highlights of it. So I'm interested to see where the pro game takes pickleball, because, the amateurs will follow suit. So it'll be cool to see.
That's a good point. Amateurs will follow suit. And you see that when it comes to paddles, clothing, and almost anything pickleball related. Yeah. The top paddles that the pros are using, it always trickles down to the amateurs. Yeah, no, paddles will be, I think we're all sick of hearing about paddles and paddle delamination, but people will continue to innovate in that space, and it'll be cool to see what it'll look like once we get out. I mean, is there something out there outside of carbon fiber and fiberglass? And so, it'll be cool to see what, we saw at Selkirk with a smiley face. What else is out there? There's got to be more. Yeah. Awesome. Love it. Well, thanks for your words of wisdom on innovation and adaptability. Picklr will continue to innovate, or they will be left behind. Well, we will be left behind. All right. Thanks, George. Thank you, Tyler.